You watch IDrive, a channel where I teach you to buy the right car, and today I'm gonna answer the biggest question many of you are asking. Should you buy 2024 BMW X5 or should you buy X3 M40i? Both have B58 engines, but both are so much different. So I decided for video number one, I'm gonna drive X5 and X3 M40i on the city streets and highway to discuss what is it like to daily drive these cars. And for video number two, I'm gonna take them to the twisty roads to discuss how they stack up one against the other. And at the end of the video number two, I'm gonna tell you a profile of the person who should buy this car or that. Let's get into the video. And if you watch IDrive for the first time, well, this is the channel where I say before you buy a car, this one or any other car, do not settle for a 5-minute test drive around the dealership block. Instead, rent it for a day from places like Turo and drive it for at least 100 miles on the city streets, highway, and twisty roads to be able to answer the biggest question I'm answering on this channel: how does it feel to drive? And first, a quick walk around this 2024 BMW X5 S-Drive 40i just to appreciate this LCI refresh. Thank you, BMW, for not screwing up the kidney grills and the headlamps. I think this looks much sleeker and better than the BMW X7. Of course, I like it better than iX and the new 7 Series. Coming on the side, I think this M Sport trim looks really amazing. And this one has a 22-inch wheels. They're the most expensive wheels, $1,900 option. The front is 275 35 R22 and the rear is 315 30 R22, and like I said, they are non-run flat. They look absolutely amazing, especially with this M Sport trim. Now coming on the rear, definitely love the tail lights. Again, thank you for not screwing up the tail lights. And let me show you something cool here. Of course, not the fact that we can open the trunk, the top piece and the lower piece, right? It's not something you can do on an X3. And here it is. It's the spare tire, right? You can get a spare tire if you get a non-run flat. And also, unlike X3, you don't lose anything in your cargo space. With X3, it raises the floor a little bit and it doesn't look that great. All right, so let me close this. This looks cool. Let's do a quick door sound check. Now this door sounds and feels heavier than the X3 for sure. Well, it is a bigger and heavier car. All right, let's get on the inside. And now getting on the inside to discuss the quality of the X5 versus the X3. Now the only piece I really like more in X3 is this upper piece. It has a little bigger texture in X3 and I think it looks a little better. I think like more upscale. Otherwise, this all looks pretty similar to what X3 is. I think is a little softer here. Now the same steering wheel, let me go ahead and start the car. Now where X5 feels better is this upper trim. This is softer material. This does look more upscale. Also this piece right here, it's Sensafin, right? Everything, so slightly softer than the Sensatec in the X3. And of course the seats. These are base Sensafin seats with a nice soft headrest, and these seats feel much better. You could tell this car designed for more comfort. And yes, I wish the X3 would get something similar, you know, softer, because Sensatec seats, they look okay, but they don't feel as good as in this X5. Everything else is very similar. Of course, you have your new design with the curved screen. And let me just quickly tell you, I'm not a fan of this. I don't like that everything is apps in this car, right? Where in X3, everything is through the menu. You can scroll through the menu. Where here, everything is app. You have your car apps. I already mentioned it in some other reviews, and basically all your infotainment apps, all apps. When you're driving, you kind of don't want to look through the screen. I find it better to have a menu and apps like I have it in my X3. And of course, your climate controls, and I'm not a fan of these heated seats, like it's all on the screen when you're driving. I feel a button would be much better, but I feel like they're trying to like make things cheaper, I guess, by putting everything in the screen. Look how it's all cleaned up, no memory buttons. Some people might like it. Personally, I think the older design is better, is more favorable to me. Let me know what you think. All right, enough of this, and let's go ahead and drive it. And now I'm gonna drive this X5 40i in the city and highway. And before I head out, if you wanna rent this specific car, you can get it on Turo. I'm gonna leave in a link on the description for the Turo profile where you can get this freshly baked X5. Now, let me put this car in a drive mode. I'm gonna put it in Sport Plus. We're just gonna get a feel for the acceleration. All right, let's go. Let's head out. All right, nothing super fast, just to get a little idea. Now this car is rated 0 to 60 in 5.3 seconds, same as XDrive, right? So they are pretty much about the same acceleration. Now, how does this car feel overall? Well, this car, let me tell you this, compared to X3 M40i, is tuned more for comfort, all right? This is no-brainer, right? And not something probably new I have discovered, but I'll explain what is so special about this X5 as well. So another stop, and let's do a quick acceleration. Let's go. All right, so one thing, the way it accelerates, it does it very gently, very smooth, right? Unlike my X5 in Sport Plus mode, it just rips things off. It just like wants to go crazy, right? And acceleration in that car is 4.4 seconds. And I'm gonna jump into that car and discuss that as well. So we'll do one more quick launch here from the stoplight and discuss another acceleration and braking. All right, stop right here. All right, and let's go. It's fairly quick, let me tell you this. This car feels fairly quick. All right, I'm gonna throw it in comfort mode. It does not inspire like you wanna race this car. It does not inspire you wanna aggressively launch this car. It's really like a toned down car in terms of performance, in terms of acceleration. It's a bigger car, heavier car, but it doesn't mean it's not capable, right? One thing that to note, if you want X5 that can perform, that's where you have your 50i, that's why you have your X5 M and M competition. That's where you can get your X5 that can really be more firm, that can take off fast and do all this crazy, even handling is tightened. This particular X5 is designed really for comfort and does everything comfortably. It comfortably brakes, right? The pedals are soft, the gas pedal is soft, the brake pedal is soft. Let me go ahead and stop at the light, demonstrate the brakes, and now stopping, and it stops. Now, one thing, car stops fine, but there is a little shift forward and it does feel the weight. Like this car feels that it's heavy. I kind of expected the braking to be a little bit more, a bit stronger, right? Like in my X3 M40i, brakes are really strong, but that car is 500 pounds lighter. Now let's talk about next. It's very comfortable, right? The seats are comfortable, I just mentioned it, and it feels really great to spend many hours in this car, and that's something I'm gonna discuss on the highway as well. The next thing, let's talk about steering in this car. And steering is a lot lighter as well. Now, somehow I expected it will be kind of like on the medium to heavy. I've driven X5s before, but this is the first time I'm driving the M Sport trim. So I thought in M Sport trim, the steering will be a little bit heavier, but no, it's very light. You can throw it around. Even in Sport Plus mode, it doesn't tighten up that much compared to like my X3 M40i, where steering is really like on a heavier, mid to heavy kind of side. So that's another thing to notice. So basically the whole design language of this X5 is comfort, like 70% I'll say comfort and 30% performance. And the only way to experience that performance and to actually see why would you get X5 versus the Toyota Highlander or something, or Audi even, the same kind of class, or Mercedes, is I'm gonna unpack this in my second video on a twisty roads. Otherwise, it's very maneuverable car. It's like, in a sense, it's tossable. For such a big car, you can really throw it around, you can really drive it aggressively if you want, but that's not the main trait of this X5. The main trait is still comfort. Now let me go ahead and drive it on the bumpy roads to discuss how is suspension set up and how are bigger wheels responding to bumps. And now driving on my favorite Tampa Avenue on the bumpy roads to feel this X5. So let me tell you this X5, like I said, is tuned for comfort, and it literally just soaks everything. It just straightens up everything. It feels like there's a butter thrown on the road and the car just absorbs everything very smooth, like very buttery. And even driving over potholes, I mean, I don't have any potholes here, but on all these imperfections, it just does such a great job, despite having these 22-inch bigger wheels with low profile tires. This X5 just does really well. So one thing, these tires, you could feel their impact, like there's a little bit more tire noise in this X5 because of these bigger wheels, but the fact that they're non-run flat, it still feels very comfortable. Now, this car will feel even more comfortable with like 20 base wheels or 21-inch wheels, or even with run flats, it will be fine. It's just gonna have a little bit more tire noise. But overall, this is designed for comfort. It is very comfortable. It's on a softer side, basically, versus the X3 M40i, which is more on a sporty side with some added comfort. And now I am in my local neighborhood and just trying to see what it feels like, right, driving the X5. I've already spent pretty much a day with this car. There's a hump. It does very comfortably. X3 M40i has a shorter travel suspension, so everything is sporty. Everything is like quick, you know, everything, all the movements are very quick in the suspension. Where here is a longer travel, so it kind of takes its time, but it still does it in an athletic way, in a fairly athletic way. So it's a very comfortable car to drive. It still inspires confidence because it's a heavy car, and how planted it is, how it does everything is still really good. Steering is on the lighter side, like I said, but it's still tossable. You can still drive this car fast, you know, in a little aggressive manner, but it's just not, that's not how it's designed. That's not how you should be driving this X5. Like, I can do all these quick turns very easily and very comfortably. Very easy to drive for ladies. The pedals are soft, smooth. The braking is very smooth. Everything it does is literally like you can have a kid in the back, your family, and everyone will enjoy the comfort in this car. And like I said, it's absolutely amazing. Now, the transmission is the same ZF like in X3 M40i. It works pretty much the same way. Very quick shifts, especially in the comfort and eco pro mode. And of course, it's more aggressive in Sport Plus mode. Now, one thing, the exhaust note, of course, is not as, you know, loud like it is in X3 M40i, but you can still hear it. You can still hear it, and yeah, it gives you some, you know, fun kind of note that you can hear that this car has an inline 6-cylinder engine, and you can totally enjoy it. All right, so now let me go ahead and hop in on the highway and discuss what is it like driving this X5 on the highway, discuss sound insulation and so on. And I'm about to merge the highway, more bumpy roads before I merge the highway, and it's a very pleasant experience driving this car on LA beat up roads. Absolutely like amazing, because you don't feel crushed in the car, you just relax, you just enjoy. All right, so let's merge the highway right here. And on ramp, I am still in the comfort mode. Man, and it does it really well. This inline 6 is very punchy. It's really powerful. Like it has decent, like good power. Like it feels good, satisfying. All right, the first thing I want to talk about is sound insulation in this car. All right, so let's get into middle lane, and I have my meter with me here. All right, let's see. Wow, 63. So this car is definitely better insulated than my X3 M40i. It's very quiet. Of course, you can hear cars here and there, but barely. Like, you can totally enjoy a good sound system. Now, this particular car does not have carbon hardened. I absolutely recommend getting that that premium sound system, because it sounds better. Like the surround sound the highs sound much better, so you'll totally enjoy that. So I highly recommend upgrading to a premium sound. That this has a bass sound and it doesn't sound as good. Other than that, is this car comfortable for long trips? Yes, this is what it's designed for. This car feels like you have a family, you need a bigger car, or you simply love comfort, and that's why you'll want the X5 versus the X3 M40i. Because it, like I said, it's just more on the comfortable side. It has athletic character that I'm gonna unveil in the second video, but it's still all about comfort. It's just so comfortable. Now, it sucks that BMW doesn't give you adaptive cruise control as standard like Lexus does. You know, all European rivals want you to get this, you know, driving assistance pro package where it comes, right? Because that's something that should be default, like standard in all cars, I feel. I don't need the lane keeping assist. Just give me that it can follow the car in front of me, that's all. Now, the other thing I'd like to do on the highway test is, of course, check the mid-range power, just overtake some cars. And this car can absolutely do that. I am still in the comfort mode, and it just picks up really nice. It does everything so gently. This X5 does everything so smooth. There are no quick like shifts. Of course, you can do it in Sport Plus mode, but overall it does everything silky smooth. You just want to enjoy. Now, in this X5, you don't feel like I said, driving it aggressively, right? The whole mode that it sets for is being more mature, being like more responsible, being more you know, important, I would say. You know, you just, or simply relax. Just enjoy the relaxing drive and know that you have a car that is super safe, super balanced, and still capable, still athletic. All right, so let me now go ahead and drive X3 M40i. And now I'm jumping into my X3 M40i. And I quickly wanted to show you how I really like this older menu. Like, I can go to home, I can go to my CarPlay, you know, you can have all your CarPlay apps here, of course, and you can scroll. This is the same, right? But then I go to home, and then there's a car, and I can literally go to all these menus. I don't even have to press anything, you know, I can quickly browse through all these menus while driving, and nothing distracts me, you know, from looking for the app. And if you want the apps, you can go back to home. Here's your apps, right? You can have all your installed apps here, you know, installed apps, Apple CarPlay, like all your stuff is still here. So you can choose how you want to do it, and look how nice it is all here. So just wanted to show you this, that I really prefer this system. And I can have my memory buttons, right? One for energy flow, 2 for sport displays, my heated seats, just a button. I don't have to find anything on the screen. You know, all these buttons, I think it's a must have. That's just my opinion. My heated steering wheel button. I mean, how cool is that? And now is the turn to drive X3 M40i in the city and highway. I'm gonna start the car. Even when it starts, when the engine is warm and how it starts, it revs up. It's so cool. Now I'm gonna put my sport display, because I have memory buttons here, okay? And then I'm gonna put it in Sport Plus mode. You know, we're gonna do a quick launch just to compare how it feels against the X5. All right, no cars there, let's go. Man, and immediately what you see the difference is how loud this car is. Man, it is just thrilling to drive this car. This car has a lot more drama, right? So now you guys watching this video deciding between X3 M40i and X5, you'll see and notice a huge difference, right? And this is what you need to decide what you want. What is your highest priority? If you want this drama, which I'm gonna show you right now again from the stop sign, let's go. Man, this car jumps, very crisp shifts, the shifts that you feel in your body, okay? And X5, everything is smooth. The pump, 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 pump shifts just smooth, just, you know, seamless kind of. Even in Sport Plus mode, they're just quicker. Here, shifts are aggressive, okay? downshift, man, this car just, and then you'll hear your burps. Now in the video, you don't hear much these pops and all this. So I like to drive this car in sport individual mode in day-to-day life. So it sounds good, but it, you know, transmission is not overwhelmed, what I like to say. So next thing is steering. Steering is on the heavier side. It's kind of medium to heavy, depending on what mode you're driving. There's a quick turn here. But overall, I like it. That's how BMW should be. And I was kind of surprised to see in the M Sport trim, which is no different than a non-M Sport, that steering is kind of really light in the X5. Probably even lighter than in the Lexus RX 500h. So I like this. It is more responsive. Of course, this car is more tossable, as it should be, right? And that's the next thing I'm gonna talk about, is the suspension, right? Well, before that, I wanna address brakes. Now, this car is lighter, like 500 pounds lighter, and M Sport upgraded brakes in this car really feel. It dramatically accelerates. It can dramatically stop as well. When you press on those brakes, which I'm gonna do right now, just kind of stop, and it just stops. It's really strong. And I've had few here and there situations where I had to brake really like fast, and this car will not fail you at all. Not to say X5 would, but in X5, even brakes are more kind of, they're good, they're strong brakes, and they put confidence, but it's just how it does everything is smooth braking. This car can brake smooth as well, but you feel the brakes more. The brakes feel much stronger in the X3 M40i, and that's also a kind of a key important point to note. All right, so next, let me go ahead and talk about the suspension on my favorite bumpy roads. And now driving on my favorite Tampa Avenue just to feel in this bumpy roads, right? And let me tell you this, this car is sporty, but it does really well. Now I have a regular tires. I removed the run flat tires, and I made a video on that. And now, even after driving it for more than 10,000 miles, it currently has around 11,000. The car feels smoother than it initially was. So it kind of opened up a little more. So overall, this car soaks the bumps pretty well, but you feel them. You obviously feel them. You feel it's a firmer car, but it just does a good job. The suspension glides pretty well over the bumps. These regular tires have better contact with the road than the run flats. The run flats feel pretty harsh, and they create extra vibration and make this car more jittery. But regular tires really improve, I would say around 20%, which is enough to keep the sportiness in this car, but at the same time have the comfort that you kind of want to have in this car. So it feels really good. There's like a good balance now for, you know, sporty car to be fairly comfortable. So what is it like living with X3 M40i, right? It is fun. It is really fun. I definitely like all the different modes it has. Let's say if I'm driving alone, I'm driving in sport individual, because I don't want to drive in sport plus mode, whether it's X5 or X3 M40i, because it's gonna want you to keep those high revs. It's gonna stay in like a 1 or 2 gears, lower gears. So it's just not something you want to do unless you are on, you know, twister roads. So sport individual, where you can configure it to the way you want it, feels fantastic. When I'm with my wife, I put it in Eco Pro mode. Like if I just want to more, you know, cruise more, that way it's very smooth. This car, the throttle, you know, you can, it modulates throttle really nicely. Like it becomes much smoother. Suspension stays the same because whether I'm driving in sport individual or Eco Pro mode, I keep suspension in comfort mode. In the sport suspension, this car does tighten up quite a bit, and it is noticeable because it's adaptive AM suspension. In sport suspension or sport plus suspension, it really starts reading the road even more and respond to it more. So again, something you can do on twisted roads and have fun with it, but not in day-to-day life. So overall, I like how these different modes really make a difference in this car. Whereas in X5, you only see the difference when you put it in Sport Plus mode and the transmission revs up. But overall, there's not much happening. It's fairly the same throughout. And that's how it should be, right? Because it's more geared towards comfort. So very pleasantly surprised with this X3 because I had it for over a year now, and it's still exciting. It is still exciting, easy to live. It is a more tossable car for sure in terms of the steering response, more tightened, and that's what I'm going to discuss in the video number 2. How do they both compare one against another on the twisty roads? Now let me go ahead and jump on the highway to discuss the comfort for longer trips in this car. Again, more bumps before I'm hitting the highway, and just to see how it does. And it's really good. It's not, I wouldn't even use word forgiving. It's comfortable, fairly comfortable for a firm car to drive over beat up roads. All right, I'm in sport individual mode. Let's hop in. Ooh, drama. And we merge in style. Okay, that's what this car is all about. It has, like, one thing about B58 in this car is it's very fruity, raspy, right? The word to use. It's loud. It's kind of, it's basically, even though this is a toned down version, right, of the B58, the 2018 X3 M40i was even louder, so they had to tone this one down. And in fact, you can tone it down more in the menu, but I'm not gonna do that. So let's throw energy flow on the screen and just put it in Eco Pro and just enjoy the ride, right? So now the sound insulation in X5 is noticeably better. In X3, you could tell that sound insulation is not on par with X5. It's still good. It's good for what it is. I don't hear any, like some people report for some reason there's a wind noise from the windshield. I don't see that problem with X3, but in X5 it is certainly more quiet. That is 100%. Now, is this car comfortable for long trips? Yes. The seats are not that comfortable. That's one thing I mentioned in one of the videos I made where I talked about 3 issues about this car, and one of them was the Sensatec seats. While they look good, they're better quality than in the past. Like we had a 4 Series that was not as good quality. This guy is changing lane here, but nevertheless they're firm. They're kind of firm, and I feel they could feel just nicer, right? They could have more cushion. It would totally help just to sit in them and to feel even more comfortable in this firmer car. But nevertheless, they do the job. I mean, we've taken trips to Palm Springs. We spent a few hours with this car and it was okay. It was not bad. The big difference, like I said, the changing the run flat tires, putting regular tires. I'm keeping them 5 psi less, and this car feels really comfortable. Like right now, I'm cruising along, and it is nice. You know, the engine is happy. In a sense, you don't hear it. It just smoothly cruises along. Now, next thing, mid-range power. I don't know if we even should be testing this here, because this car is very responsive. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, so this car is just, you know, it's just instantly accelerates, and you could tell by the weight that it has less weight than the X5. You could tell that just by how it does everything. Is just more responsive. This car is far more responsive than the X5. This car, like I said, it's tuned for sport, and then you have, so 70% sport and 30% comfort. And that's enough to basically enjoy this car. Like, how is it different than X5? Like a lot of people would, you know, asking, is X5 an upgrade from X3 M40i? And the answer is no, it is not. X5 is an upgrade from the regular X3 S-Drive, because that is a more comfortable, that has a 4-cylinder engine, which doesn't do anything exciting. But X3 M40i is the car in its own territory, because you can totally buy this instead of X5 because it has enough room. Let's face it, it's fairly spacious, but at the same time, it is a lot more fun. This is the car if you really want to have fun. All right, so this summarizes my video number 1. Let me know if you found value, and make sure to subscribe and not miss my video number 2, where I talk about these two cars, driving them on the twisty roads and basically discussing how they are different, how they stack up one against another. All right, and I'll catch you in my next video.